Welcome back to the Commercial Real Estate Show. I'm Michael Bull, and we're talking about retail and retail real estate. I'd like to welcome our newest affiliate in Orlando. If you're in Orlando, check out WRSO AM 810 and FM 93.1 every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Well, like I said, today we're talking about retail and retail real estate. Please welcome my next guest via Skype is John Crossman. John is president of Crossman and Company. They do retail leasing and sales and tenant rep throughout the Southeast. John is also a very active member of ICSC. John, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me, Michael. It's a pleasure.
Well, we appreciate you being here on Skype. And, John, securing the best tenants and reaching the right prospects is always important to retail landlords. So let's start our discussion today talking about some strategies for landlords to consider in the current market. And the first thing is, what are some tips that you would give retail landlords to get retailers' interest in the first place about a property?
Sure. Well, let me say something big picture, and just to point this out, we actually don't do any tenant rep. We only represent landlords, and so our landlords are overwhelmingly retail landlords. And I would take it a little bit bigger than your question, if it's okay to open up with this, and that is, it used to be about talking about mixed-use developments, and I think that as we look at the future of the market, it's going to be about mixed uses in developments. And so what do I mean by that? Well, first off, there's traditional ways that we need to go after retailers, and we can talk about that. Having said that, I don't think there's going to be enough retail to fill all the vacancies in all the centers we see across the country, particularly bigger centers like malls, and we continue to see the downsizing of big box tenants. So with that in mind, we have to have equal strategies that are aggressive, going after unique and different categories. And so what that looks like is office tenants. I'm the NAIOP chapter president for Orlando this year, and people ask, why is Retail AI doing that? I'm doing it because I want to make sure the office tenant brokers of the world are aware of us, because we have a pulse of tenants for typical office location and retail. We're really plugged into medical because we found that medical can go really well inside of retail. We're very plugged in with government. We've seen government uses go well. Gyms and fitness centers, which used to be something you would never see go in a retail center. We're having that happen now. And then finally is religious uses. Churches and pseudo-church related organizations have come into centers and done really well, have been very impactful. And so a lot of those categories I just told you, it wasn't long ago they were forbidden from retail projects, but they've been very, very helpful. Let me pause. Do you have any comments or questions on that?
Well, yeah. So if you decide that, say, a particular retail tenant is a great tenant for your property, how do you reach out to them to get their attention initially?
Well, the initial way you do it, I believe, is you need to tell a story, and you need to tell a story that gives facts and that helps that retailer understand that they're going to do high volumes in that location. Okay, it's not simply just send them a flyer or send them a site plan. You need to be very, very detailed, and you're going to have higher levels of success with more information. So if you send them the basics on the site, that's great. But you go a step further and you map out all of their existing sites in the market and all their competitor sites, and then you show that that's a gap in the market. That's absolutely key. If you're able to share with them tenant sales, even if it's just an average range of what's in the property, that's key. If you can tell a story about, there's two things you like to look at is there market growth or can you gain market share? Okay, so if you're showing a retailer that there is 500 apartment units under construction and that target matches that retailer, and you can explain that, that's great. If you can explain that they can get market share, that a place where people are shopping heavily with above average sales is 10 miles away, and this site is 2 miles away, then you could say, hey, you could reasonably take 10 to 20% or maybe more of those sales and pull them into your center. So I think that a lot of times what people are doing is they try to do fast networking, just sending stuff out, where I'm more about is let's tell a very complete, full story that gives them as much information as they can, that helps them make a decision quickly and that helps give them the data they need. Retailers are all about volume. They need to know when they go in that location it's going to go well. And if you don't mind, I'll take it one step further. I think that the best landlords are doing things where they're showing retailers how they're going to help them improve their sales. And what I mean by that is marketing events, doing PR for the properties, doing things to help juice their sales their first week and juice their sales along and seeing them as a partner. And I think that the times of owning a property and just letting tenants just sit there and do their own thing, particularly in large projects, those days are gone. There has to be a real partnership there with retailers.
Okay, those are excellent points, John. And we're talking with John Crossman with Crossman and Company about strategies for landlords to pick up more tenants. And when it comes to leases and lease terms, John, what are some things in leases and offers that landlords might want to consider today to secure good tenants?
Well, I think that it's certainly being flexible. I mean, obviously with the lease you need to protect yourself, but I think there's other ways that you try to be flexible and work with the tenant. I've sometimes seen landlords take a position of like, take it or leave it. This is our landlord lease, and we're not going to make any adjustments with that. And I certainly understand that because it makes things easier, but I do think there's sometimes that you need to be flexible, be able to work with people. And that goes to having make sure you have the right legal team. Either if it's in-house or you have outsourced an attorney, make sure you have one that's a very experienced, focused real estate attorney, and that they're a deal attorney, that they're really trying to work hard, and that them being able to get along with the counsel on the other side to make things happen is absolutely crucial. And the little bit of money you may spend on an attorney, and a little bit shouldn't be a whole lot because it's a limited amount of time needed, is far worth it to make sure you get the right language in there that works for both sides.
Yeah, those are great points, and being flexible is key. So if you get the right tenant that's the right mix for that property, that you can secure them. And yeah, you've got to have good counsel. And one of the mistakes I've seen there is that they have an attorney they use for something else, and it's not retail real estate. They've got the wrong guy. We're going to take a short break here. We're going to have more from John Crossman on retail and retail real estate. So stay with us. I'm Michael Bull. This is the Commercial Real Estate Show. We'll be right back. The Commercial Real Estate Show is brought to you by Florida International University and Bull Realty Commercial Brokerage, a great place to do business. For more information on these companies or to access additional podcasts, videos, or blogs, visit commercialrealestateshow.com.